or scientific terms. It presupposes that the origin of all of your physical third density matter is physical matter. That stuff must come from stuff. This is not the case. Intent is the origin of physical matter. Intent. It is as if there were an invisible membrane on one side of the physical reality that you know, and on the other side is invisible machinery, the intent of the isness, which makes it all possible. Intent is the key word for you and your other teachers. Desire, if you prefer, can also be used, but it is the isness whose desire and intent to explore itself in all possible manifestations that creates your physical world. That intent begins at the very smallest unit of matter. An electron then is the first hesitant physical manifestation of your intent, as it eases through the membrane into physical life and begins to joyfully dance. There are pockets, then, gaps in that membrane which, when energized with enough intent, transform that intent into a physical unit. And once an electron has been given birth, in such a manner, it calls back to the isness and sends its own intent back to the isness, begging for its playmates to join it. So, that can create and assist you in creating a brave new world. This makes it easier for other units of matter to follow, as they are denser and therefore created by a stronger burst of intent than the electrons. Now, let's talk about that. What he's saying is that our intent to manifest in the physical creates electrons. Electrons then create and copy themselves. Okay, but what happens is they copy the original intent. Now, if you remember, I have tried to share with you their viewpoint that most of us have gotten so caught up in the idea of being in the creation, maintaining the creation, that we forgot to strive toward the Creator. So, we are expending so much energy trying to keep this together, as opposed to changing it and creating something much better. Do you follow? It's so subtle. And this is how we have been controlled and manipulated. We are not seeing ourselves beyond our physical selves. Okay. Like a game of tug-o-war, the electrons send back its desire to engage in the joy of physical creation. This desire helps ease creation into its brethren elements. Now, they talk funny and I can't help that. And so, in a wondrous exchange, not only is physical matter created out of desire of the isness itself, but also the joyful song of physical matter reaches back through space and time and connects with the body of intent, and across that invisible membrane, and pulls more of itself into being. Physical matter then creates itself, but only after we originally create the intent. The exuberance of the atom. Now, just focus on your intent. The more you believe it, the further it will manifest itself because you, with your intent and your belief, will give that energy to the physical intent that you just created and allow itself to simply manifest. You create your reality, now your neighbors. We had a 3-hour lecture on the words intent, wish and want. And, when you say I wish something, or I want something, you're manifesting that you don't have it. But, when you're saying I intend and attempt, you're manifesting and you have it. The word intent is a command. So, let's just say a large percentage of people say, there will be no earthquake this year. The chances drop. The problem is that most people do not realize the power they have. Now, where was I? Okay, Vazis continues. The exuberance of the atom is multiplied in the wonder of a molecule which astonishes itself in the miracle, with a single-celled organism and on up the ladder to these simply unimaginable, complex organisms that is you, and all of your brothers on earth. You are all composed of uncountable such atoms and molecules, every one of them jumping for joy to join in the partnership to create who you think you are. We emphasize that the natural state of the world is one in which love and fulfillment are the easiest paths to follow. It is much more work to bring yourself negative experiences than it is to deny beauty and wonder. So, don't deny the beauty and wonder of your own beings or turn deaf ears on a song of molecules that compose you, that you stray from the path of fulfillment. Now, the grid, your energy field, is a grid of intent. Your energy field is what keeps you together because you are literally created from your own intent. That is why spirit can attach to us. Do you follow? If an organism or a structure is created, cloned or copied, spirit cannot attach to it. This is the problem the Greys have with the hybrids, and this is why the human clones do not have an energy field, because spirit can't attach to it. And this is also because there was no intent in its creation in terms of self-maintaining consciousness. There was, in your terms, no spiritual intent to create it. The non-physical pattern of your body is composed of virtually uncountable blocks of intent, each assigned a particular function, and each specifically directed toward a creation and sustenance of a particular part of your body. As long as you restrict your inquiry only to the physical forms perceivable, you will all have questions and no answers. Just as the atom is constructed or originates out of intent, and not physical matter, so does the body find its origin in a plane quite hidden from your scientific instruments. The blueprint for the body is not contained in a genetic structure. The chromosomes simply reflect the greater origin or the intent. It is the grid work, the structuring of intent and desire that serves as the blueprint for your bodies. And that intent is then literally flushed out to create the shape of the body. Question: Do all organisms have a soul? Apparently they have intent, but the chief cook and bottle washer of all that intent is the soul. Some life forms, as a group, have herd souls. An example of this in practice is when you see a flock of birds all turn at the same time. These type of souls, however, are not like our individualized souls. They are more like a collective consciousness. Question: So in actuality, what is actually controlling the sustenance of the human body in the normal human is our own consciousness, projected from the 11th dimension, which is in fact us. Yes. You know. Well, you're already having the intent because you're not vaporizing in front of us. I think the whole point in them sharing all of this with us is for us to be able to trace back where the intent is actually coming from, and for us to see ourselves for who we really are. Question: As the population increases, does that mean that there are more souls, there is more intent, other beings who want to express themselves here? The soul creates the intent. The intent is you. A population increase is just more souls wanting to have intent here. According to the Andromedans, there were the same amount of souls or spirits in our universe until March 23, 1994, when several new ones apparently stepped in. This was when the new 12th density started to create itself, because of the intent of the isness.